Prime Minister, the Honorable Dr. Timothy Harris, Premier of Navies and Senior Minister, the Honorable Vance Amri, Representative for Constituency Number 8 and Minister with Responsibility for Agriculture, et al., the Honorable Eugene Hamilton, Representative for Constituency Number 1 and Minister with Responsibility for Public Utilities, the Honorable Ian Patches Liebod, our Attorney General, the Honorable Vincent Byron, the Honorable Wendy Phipps, Minister with Responsibility for Health, et al., our Senator, the Honorable Akila Byron Nisbet, Cabinet Secretary, Mrs. Josephine Huggins, Permanent Secretaries, Mr. D'Souza, Mr. William Hodge, Mr. Stanley Knight, other department heads, and of course, my good friend, Mr. Andrew Skerritt, other department heads, members of the head table, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon to all. Today, we have gathered for a very significant event in the capacity development initiatives that the government is pursuing. Today, we gather to launch a more relevant and efficient empowerment program for our people, in particular, our young people. Tom Peters, an American writer on business management practices, once said, "Almost all quality improvement comes via simplification of design, manufacturing, layout processes, and procedures." This ceremony signals this type of activity for People's Empowerment Program that is being rebranded to S.T.E.P, Skills Training and Empowerment Program. Before taking office, Team Unity made a promise to the people of this country to restructure the People's Empowerment Program, commonly known as S.T.E.P. Today, your government is delivering on yet another of its promises, and thus will hereby achieve another of its campaign promises. You may recall that the People's Empowerment Program, which was launched just before Christmas in December 2012, was described as a government initiative that was supposed to facilitate the transformation of the national society and the economy. It was supposed to enhance the human resource of the nation by providing training to stimulate the skill set and the entrepreneurial competencies of the interns registered. It is now 4 years later, and this government, after taking office 2 years ago, is determined to transform this program to ensure that all those who are enrolled would be empowered with certified skills that will increase their marketability. Whether or not those objectives have been achieved remains highly questionable. 4 years later, the majority of graduates have neither a certificate or skills to exhibit. I have been reliably informed, as a matter of fact, that of the over 800 persons currently employed under the PEP program, the largest single cohort is that of landscapers. Now, let us examine really and truly what in the true sense a landscaper is. I posit that a landscaper is not merely someone who goes out to cut grass or to cut trees or to clean up an area of land. A landscaper is defined as someone who is engaged in the activity of modifying or changing visible features of an area of land, including living elements such as flora and fauna, or what is commonly called gardening, the art and craft of growing plants with a goal of creating a beautiful environment within the landscape. Now, when you think of that particular definition of a landscaper, we cannot say in the affirmative that those 400 plus persons have truly been trained as landscapers. And I say that because when you ask the majority of these persons if they know the art of cutting a hedge, the fact is that the majority of those persons do not. When we think about growing trees, do the majority of these persons even know how to fertilize trees so that the trees grow in a manner that you are satisfied with? If you give the majority of these persons a pair of shears to use to cut a hedge, can they competently and with the real skill set handle those shears? What about when you're planting trees? The right amount of sunlight, the right amount of water, all these are important factors that a true landscaper must be aware of. But the fact is that the persons who are now employed as landscapers, they have never received this type of training under the S.T.E.P program. For them, what type of training has been offered in terms of managing a business for those who have been desirous of leaving the S.T.E.P program and becoming their own bosses? Do they have the skills to manage a business? Therefore, when you consider it, neither have they been trained to be landscapers in terms of the necessary skills or being able to have the necessary resources to do so. I therefore say that these workers, after some 4 years, should have been competent in all areas of landscaping. I sit in cabinet on a weekly basis, and cabinet should have been receiving and reviewing submissions from many of these persons now desirous of working for themselves and seeking a relaxation of certain taxes to facilitate the startup of their businesses. We have launched the Fresh Start program. Many of those persons also should have been able to approach the development bank with a sound business plan after being in a training program for some 4 years to be able to start their own businesses. So while we say that this program has not been a blessing, as has been said, to those employed by the S.T.E.P program, we say it because we do not see our people, the participants, getting the real benefits that they should have received from this program. It is therefore evident that this government's decision to reorganize the People's Empowerment Program has been made in the best interests of the interns or workers. The restructured S.T.E.P takes on a whole new paradigm shift, and part of the transformation includes now to be officially renaming it to the Skill Training Empowerment Program, S.T.E.P, which more adequately reflects what it will do. Skills training becomes the central focus of S.T.E.P. The workers, who we can refer to as trainees, will be given the invaluable opportunity to receive short-term training in technical and vocational disciplines with a focus on hospitality. Historically, the Ministry of Education has had a very supportive relationship with the office that administered S.T.E.P. Through that office, the Ministry of Education would have facilitated several interns who functioned as auxiliary staff at educational institutions. This would have enabled a mutually beneficial relationship which the Ministry of Education looks forward to maintaining. S.T.E.P. will offer short-term job-related competencies and on-the-job training. The Ministry of Education is indeed quite pleased to be able to participate even more actively in this national initiative of enhancing the skills of the S.T.E.P. trainees. The National Skills Training Program, S.T.E.P, will spearhead the delivery of courses with a focus on competency standards, while the National TVET Council will facilitate the evaluation and certification of the trainees. With the focus of the S.T.E.P intern training being towards the attaining of the CARICOM-approved Caribbean vocational qualifications, trainees of S.T.E.P who complete their areas should be better qualified with a regionally approved certification. This should result in a cadre of workers who are more marketable and better suited to compete for the available jobs. I want to emphasize that S.T.E.P trainees would be given the opportunity to function as apprentices who are not only equipped with content knowledge related to their various fields, professional interests, but they would also acquire invaluable practical experience. Such practical experience puts them in a better position to transform their learning to real-world professional context. It therefore means that once S.T.E.P trainees complete their training and receive their certification at their graduation, they stand to be equipped with competencies that are valued not only locally, but also regionally. Thus, S.T.E.P aims at making our people better prepared for the realities of free movement of people that is taking place within the OECS and the CARICOM region. I therefore want to say to the trainees at this point in time to see the training which will be offered to you as a stepping stone to bigger and bolder things in life. Do not limit yourselves at the end of the day to just merely being trainees and graduates of the S.T.E.P program. Within the Ministry of Education right now, as we pursue our vocational educational training programs, we recognize that to a large extent, we do not have qualified persons to deliver many of the programs. We look at clothing and textiles right now, and we have determined that very shortly we are going to face a crisis within the Ministry of Education because we have very few persons available to teach that particular course. I am not aware as to whether or not such training will be provided as part of the S.T.E.P program. But indeed, if it is, the trainees should endeavor to go beyond the training that they receive as part of the program. Use it as a stepping stone, whether to enroll in other courses at CFBC or even to go on to university. I can say to you that one of the most proficient persons who we have teaching that course right now is not someone who went on to teachers training college or even to university for that matter, but someone who has gained quite a bit of practical experience in the field. Is someone who we can now call upon to teach other teachers in that area of specialty. As it is, CXC is also making new demands in terms of the curriculum for technical drawing. They are now expecting students as part of their SBAs to be able to design and show that they can design a house from the foundation up to the roof. Again, we have to look outside to hire someone to retrain many of our teachers to deliver that particular competency, that particular course. So for the persons who will be part of this STEP program, there are many, many opportunities which will be available to you. Today, you may start out merely as a graduate of the program, but the vision of the government is that you are going to receive a skill which will take you much further in life, and that is why it is being rebranded as the STEP program, because it is supposed to take you many steps beyond where you are today. Many steps into becoming a more meaningful contributor towards the development of St. Kitts and Nevis. In conclusion, STEP is the result of a collaborative approach across different government ministries to strengthen human resource development in the nation. Thus, I offer commendation to those who have played an integral role in revamping PEP and designing STEP. I also fully endorse the skills training employment program to all of the citizens of our beloved nation. Thank you.